everybody, Paul Abernathy here. Welcome to another episode here at Master the NEC and Electrical Code Academy, all sponsored by the Fast Track system where we teach you the National Electrical Code. So we have a lot of people that say, Paul, I don't like something in the code. I don't agree with it. Rather than saying that I just disagree. And I always say, well, if you don't like something in the code, you don't want to try to enforce it, which is a minimum safety standard, then you got to get the code changed. And people are lazy, right? They want to cry and moan about code rules. And instead of trying to comply, they find ways to circumvent them. They find ways to manipulate it and not follow these rules rather than just following the rules. Now, if there's something in the code that you disagree with passionately about and something that you can articulate why you disagree, and you have justification, substantiation, you have all that good stuff, then what you need to do is you need to submit a public input. So right now, public inputs are open for the 2026. It's going to be ending soon. I don't know when you get this video, but I want to show you how you do this. And maybe you missed the boat on the 2026 edition. That's okay. You can always do public comments to things in the process. You can be engaged, and I'm going to show you how you get engaged. But maybe the next time around for the 2029, when we finally get past the 2026, the gates will open and you can submit a public input to change the code in the 2029. So I'm going to show you kind of how this works. So let's kind of go to NFPA real quick. I want to show you how really easy this is. So here we are. All right, so I'm not signed in at all. In fact, you can't even see my sign in. So let me adjust this here while you're here. That way, people can see the actual sign-in part. Okay, right there. Okay, just want you to see everything. All right, so here we are. Here's the sign-in. You can sign in right here. You click sign in. And if you don't have an account, right, then you can come over here, create a profile. You can register and get an account. They're free. Doesn't cost you anything to get an account, okay? All right, so I have an account, so I'm going to log in. Remember, everybody can sign up for a free account. Just go to nfpa.org. Like I said, I'll go back and make it so simple for you. Here you are at the top. You go over here where it says sign in. You click on it. If you don't have an account right here, then you simply go over here and you create an account. All right. Now I have one, so I'm signing in. All right. So now I am signed in. You see there's my profile. Now, what do? Okay, I don't like something in the NEC. I think that I have justification to have something changed, all right? I can promise you right now, if you just submit something that you want changed because if it's a personal opinion, it's not going to make it, okay? Now, I'll also remind you that every person that serves on code panels, as well as everybody else, we have to submit public inputs the exact same way, okay? We don't just get together at the table and start doing this stuff. We have to submit public inputs just like anybody else. So first thing you're going to do is go up here to where it says codes and standards. Click on it. Now here it says a list of NFPA codes and standards. Click on it. Now you're going to come down to this list and you're going to come all the way down to NFPA 70, right? Sure, right here. See that it's the National Electrical Code. I'm going to click on it. All right, now see down here where it says next edition right there. Click on it. And here's where you're going to see we're in the first draft stage. There's a first draft, there's a second draft, there's a NITMAM, all these different stages. By the way, this is where you would come to get all these nifty documents on the process, how the process goes, all that type of stuff, okay? All right, so right here, see it says submit a public input online, right? Here, submit, right here, submit a public input, right? Next edition, 2026, that's what we're working on. So I'm going to go in and click it right here. Now notice the closing date is September 7th. So if you're watching this after September 7th, don't think you can't get involved because once the public inputs go in, then they will become what's called a first draft. After we look at it, all the code panel members get together and look at it, and we'll put out a first draft. Then that's going to be released to the public. Then if there's something you disagree with the public with the first draft, you can get involved in the public comment stage. And you see that'll go all the way up to August 28th of 2024. So you can still be in the process, but if you want to get something new in there, you need to do it by September 7th. Now, if you miss the boat on this, don't worry. What happens is in a couple years, you'll be able to submit for the 2029. So it gives you a little more time to work on your public input to make it just right. But I want to show you the process because everybody acts like this is so freaking hard. Again, I have people that complain about this. They think they know what they're talking about. They say, I don't agree with the code. I think that's stupid. If you don't get and make change, then the old saying is put up or shut up. If you're not going to go make the change, then accept the way it is and move on. Do it the way the code is. Stop your griping. Make for change. Get involved in the process, right? It's not NFPA's fault. It's not code panel members' fault. It's your fault. You didn't get involved. All right, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to show you what it's like to submit a public input. Now, what you'll get is this thing. You're hard to see it probably, but this is called TerraView. And this is what's so neat. It allows you to construct a code change directly inside of here. All right. So let's say I wanted to make a code change. Let's just say to 230.85 because I've been talking about that a lot today. So what you do is you navigate to 230.85, right? And you get down here. I'll click on it, and it'll come up on the screen. Now, all you do is if you want to change something, let's just goof around. Let's just say I wanted to call this emergency disconnects. Let's say I didn't like the name, and I think it should be emergency responders disconnects. I'm just saying. You can change anything you want here by simply clicking on it. So I'm going to click on this, right? And if I click on this, it adds to all of them. Okay, so it looks like I got to make change to everything in here. So let's see here. Now, if I want to I want to add a new section, then I can't show you the screen. Let me move this up real quick. If I want to make an entirely new section, then right here, like maybe one that comes after 230.85, then I click this new section button right here. Right here. This new section button right here at the bottom right there. Right? That maybe I want to make a 230.86 or whatever. That's where you do it. Now, if you want to edit the existing text like what I have here, right? Then you'll go down here. Now, you could not do this. You could change any one of these you wanted. Okay, you could click and change any one of these. Let me move this down a little bit so you can see everything again. You could change any one of these if you want. If I wanted to change this replacement requirement or whatever, but I want to do the title. So I'm just going to have to go through it all. And now I'm going to go down here to the bottom. Again, I'm going to show you here. I go down here and I'm going to click this button right here. You see it kind of blinking in the bottom right. I'm going to click that button. So let me click it. And it's going to load. And let me go on and drop this down while it's loading real quick. There we go. All right, now what you do up here is you can click anywhere in here. See how I'm clicking in there? And it's like a Word document. So if I'm clicking right here and I want to put emergency, and I'll put, let's see, emergency responders disconnects. All right, you see where I do that? I know it's hard to see. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. See where I just typed it in right here? It's basically a text editor. And maybe I want to say emergency responders disconnect, okay? Or just say emergency responder. See how you can edit it? So I can edit anything I want in here by just putting my mouse wherever I want. So if I was creating a new section, then it would be all fresh for me. But I'm editing one that's here. So I can do anything. I can do bold. I can do anything like that. So that's what I've got, all right? So now I've made my edits, all right? So now I'm going to do what? I'm going to go down here. And what you see is after you make your edits, you scroll down here, you'll see that there's a button that says next, right? Right here, it says next. All you're gonna do is click next. So I've made my edit, clicking next. Now, go back up here, you'll see what it did. And it also created a public input, and I'll zoom in so you can see this. It created a public input, so this one would be public input 25.20. So that's what goes on the record for that code panel, right? And here you see where it automatically marks out the disconnects and adds my emergency responder disconnects. That's a code change. And then you simply do what? You come down here and you go to the next. Or now, if you want to save it because you're not ready to submit it, then you can go down here. I'll show you. Don't worry. Right down here. You can click this button right here that'll save it. Okay, right here. It'll save it for you. You can come back later. Don't have to submit it now if you don't want to. And then, of course, you go and the next thing you do is you click the next. If you're happy with what you've done, you click the next. Now, what's next is it'll take you to this here. And this is where you can upload additional proposed changes, right? So if you have any graphics or maybe a document to support your information, any charts or tables or whatnot, then it'll allow you to add that to the file, right? Because it creates a packet that's going to go to the code making panel, right? So it's simple. You click upload file, you click on it, and it'll drop down here and it allows you to choose a file and upload whatever you want to support your change, right? All right. See how simple this is so far. All right. So I don't have anything, no images to add. So I just click next. And then it comes to this statement. Statement on problem or substantiation for public input. It is required. So you can't just say, because I think the NEC was having trouble typing today. NEC was wrong and I am right. That's not going to work. You need to substantiate it. Listen, all you folks out there who don't like certain things in the NEC, I'll use a great example. How many people out there think that 312.5c, where you bring all those non-metallic sheet cables through one connector in the back of an exterior enclosure, you think that's okay? Well, here you go. Here you go. All you got to do is go to 312.5c1 and change it, just like I just did for this one, and submit it. But you're going to have to justify. You can't say, well, this is how we do it in another state, or this is how we've always done it with no problem. I promise you, it's not going to pass that way. You're going to have to explain why it meets the intent of the code, why those cables are considered secured. And it's not going to work to say fire caulk. It's not going to work to say caulking. But if that's what you want to do, go for it. But this is what you have to do. You have to substantiate everything, right? Everything that you do has to be substantiated, okay? So when everybody says the code panel just gets things put in it because it wants it, that is not true. It must be substantiated, okay? Now I'm going to close this, and it's asking me, do I want to save it? No, I don't really want to save it. All right, so here is the one up here, and this is the one that I submitted. I'm just going to, I think that's to delete it because I don't really think that change is necessary. So I'm just going to delete the change. I didn't want it anyway. It wasn't submitted. As you see, it's not submitted, so I got rid of it. The point is, you follow through the process, and it's that easy to submit a public input. Anybody can do it. NFPA, they're free accounts. You go register for it, okay? And we love your comments, okay? But again, if you want to get it changed, you must justify it. So to summarize, you go to nfpa.org, okay? You click to sign in. If you don't have an account, you're going to register. Once you're registered, you log in. Then you're going to go, like I said, to the list of documents, okay? And then you're going to go down to NFPA 70. I'm not going to show you again. Go back and watch it again. At the beginning of this video, I showed you how to do that. Click on NFPA 70. Once you're in there, click Next Edition. When you get into the Next Edition, it will open. You will see where it says for the public input link. Click it. Now, if we get to the point where you missed the boat and you get the first draft, you read it, and now you can't introduce anything new now. You gotta comment on what's already been submitted during the public input and what was agreed upon at the first draft by the code panel members. If there's something you don't agree with, that's your opportunity to do the same thing we just did, but now you can go in and do what's called a public comment. So you're basically making a comment on the actions that the code panel took on public inputs. So you get to have a say everywhere along the way. So when people say this is not an equal process, it is. People say it's overrun by manufacturers. No, manufacturers are experts. That's why we need them on committees. But these are balanced committees. I know I'm gonna get some people in the comments that say, no, it's not, but chances are you're talking out your butt because you never served on a committee. You don't know what the work is like being on a committee. You've never experienced a committee. You just don't like what's in the code, and you think that it's been driven by manufacturers. Well, get off your butt. Start submitting some public inputs. Change the code. Be a warrior for code and change it if you feel that something's not right. But remember, you're going to have to justify it. Got to substantiate it, and you got to back it up. All right? Well, hopefully you learned something. Get out there, get those public inputs. We need it. Every 3 years, this code changes. We need bright people like you out there who can bring some insight to these codes. We'll sit at the code panel. We'll wade through it. We'll give it merit where it needs to be. We'll put it together, and we'll put it out there for you to be able to give comments on it, and we'll make a better code. All right? Every 3 years, we strive to make a better code. All right? Until next time, folks, stay safe. God bless.